Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, Zaria community thrown into mourning as bandits kill Fulani leader, his 4 sons. Ram market spring up in Abuja, sellers lament poor patronage. Nigeria beat Sierra Leone to clinch AFCON 2023 ticket. And on the foreign scene, South African billionaire now richest person in Africa, displacing Dangote, whose wealth drops by $2.80 billion. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for joining. Residents of Dorai village in Zaria local government area of Kaduna State have been thrown into mourning following bandits' attack on a Fulani leader. The Ardan Birnin Zazo, the Kiwe Shoaib Muhammad, who the bandits shot to death with his 4 children. The incident happened on Saturday night when the residents had retired to bed. The wife of the deceased, Halima Shoaib, told newsmen that the bandits dragged Ardo out of his bedroom and shot him on his head, twice leading to his instant death. She further explained that the bandits went from one room to another in the compound and killed her 4 children who are married with children. Another survivor of the attack, Abdurrahman Shoaibu, said the bandits shot 2 older people on their way out of the village. Public Relations Officer in Kaduna State, Muhammad Jalingi, said he is yet to get the details of the incident from the DPO Zaria City as at the time of filing this report.
I was indoors with my family when I heard a gunshot, thinking it was security operatives. I later realized that it was kidnappers. I ran to my father's room and already he has been shot. They went from one room to the other and shot another person who happens to be my family member. About 5 of them came to invade us. They were fully armed with guns. They set ablaze over 200 cows. We are 5 in numbers from the same father and mother. This is actually an unfortunate incident that have happened to us. May God expose those that have carried out this cruel act. When I heard the unfortunate news, I had to call so many leaders to come so that we can rescue people. Many people have been hospitalized and receiving treatment, and I'm appealing to the families of those that have been affected to take it as an act of God, adding that the perpetrators must be brought to face the full wrath of the law. He came back at 10 p.m. in the night. I saw them. There were 5 in numbers. When they shot the first person in the room, I was on my knees begging them to kill me. I allowed the rest to escape because I am old. And they kept shooting, and shot my relatives.
Still on insecurity, a 13-year-old boy, Khalifa Umar, has been shot dead by gunmen who invaded Jamara Market in Jamara local government area of Bauchi State. It was reported that the gunmen also abducted one Alhaji Samaila Magaji and injured 2 others on Saturday night. A resident of Jamara said people were surprised by the attack because it was new to them and Jamara has no nearby forest. The police public relations officer in the state, Ahmed Wakili, confirmed the incident on Sunday. Receiving the distress call, the police spokesman said the command directed the divisional police officer of Jama'ari and his team to swiftly swing into action. He explained that police operatives went to the crime scene, rescued the injured person and took him to the hospital. At the scene of the crime, 4 empty shells of AK-47 were recovered and 1 live ammunition was also recovered. It was gathered that the victim's body has been released to the family for burial according to Islamic rites. Wakili, a superintendent of police, also confirmed that the Bauchi State Commissioner of Police has since directed the area commander to make frantic effort to rescue the victims and apprehend the culprits that perpetrated the act. Police in Ondo State have confirmed the abduction of Ibrahim Budundi Oyelade, the chief imam of Uso community in Owu local government area of the state. The 67-year-old cleric was abducted on his farm at Asolo Farm Camp on Saturday afternoon. A family member said they reported to the police when Budunde Oyinlade did not return home by 2 p.m. and calls to his mobile phone were not answered. Oluful Milayo Odullami Omisanye, the police spokesperson in the state, however, confirmed the incident. He said police officers and vigilantes were combing the forest in search of the chief imam. Odullami Omisenya said the victim's car and mobile phone were found at the farm. The DPO, policemen and vigilantes are searching the area for possible rescue. A former governor of Imo State, Senator Roches Okorocha, escaped attack on his life by gunmen. Okorocha's convoy came under barrage of gunshots at Ihube along Okigwe-Enugu Expressway on Friday. The hoodlums, who probably saw the convoy when it was en route, Owerri, might have thought that the former governor was in the convoy on his way to Enugu after dropping the senator in Owerri. Though he escaped by whiskers, a policeman in the escort vehicle was killed. The former governor, who confirmed the incident on Sunday at Amemo in the Ikijuru local government area of the state at the birthday anniversary celebration of the People's Democratic Party candidate for the November 11 governorship election in Imo State, Samuel Anunu, expressed surprise on the attack on him, describing it as unfortunate. He also expressed sadness over the killing of the police officer. Okorocha, who ruled the state between 2011 and 2019, said that the victim killed was one of the policemen deployed from State Government House to escort him to the burial ceremony of the mother of the immediate past governor of Imo State, Emeka Ehedua. Managing Director, National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, George Moghalu, says preliminary investigations on the Kwara boat tragedy revealed that the vessel was very heavily overloaded with over 250 persons not wearing life jackets, including luggage. Speaking with journalists in Ilorin after leading a delegation to make on-the-spot assessment of the situation in Patigi communities over the weekend, Moghalu said that the preliminary investigation revealed causes of the incident, vowing that all indicted persons will be punished. Moghalu also added that there were instances where boat operators had been arrested, sent to prisons, and their vessels were either impounded or destroyed when considered not river worthy. He lamented that not all vessel operators were licensed or registered, saying that the organization will continue the registration of vessel operators to ensure safety of waterways. A total of 107 deaths were recorded in the boat accident in the Patigi local government area of Kwara State last Monday, while 146 escaped death. Police in Zamfara says all vehicles seized from the residence of former governor of the state, Bello Matowalle, have returned to the court. The police public relations officer in the state, Yazid Abubakar, said the vehicles were returned in compliance with the order of the Federal High Court in Gusau. Justice Aliyu Bappa of the Federal High Court, Gusau, on Thursday ordered all security agencies to return over 40 vehicles, including sports utility and bulletproof vehicles, within 48 hours. The court also gave an order of interim injunction restraining the respondents in the suit filed by Matowalle from taking any further action in connection with the matter. The Zamfara state government had earlier said more than 40 vehicles, including 3 bulletproof vehicles and 8 SUVs, were recovered from the 2 houses of the former governor. In the meantime, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAF, has urged the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and other 13 former governors in the 10th Senate to disclose the total amount of life pensions, if any, that have been received from their state as former governors. In a statement on Sunday, SERAF Deputy Director Kolowale Oluwadare urged the new lawmakers to promptly clarify if they have collected or are currently collecting life pensions as former governors from their respective states. The group said collecting live pensions as former governors while in the Senate will clearly violate constitutional provisions and amounts to taking advantage of entrusted public positions. Oluwadare said the former governors must emulate former Senate President Bukola Saraki, who stopped collecting live pension as a former governor of Kwara State and described live pensions by former governors as immoral. Abuja residents have expressed displeasure over hiked prices of sacrificial rams ahead of Eid al-Kabir celebration. Trust TV Kabir Lawal reports that rams market are springing up, but sellers say they are expecting buyers to come. The report.
Sacrificial rams are most important as Salah celebration fast approaches, with ram markets springing up in Abuja. However, ram sellers in the Federal Capital Territory explained that the rise in prices of rams can be attributed to the fuel subsidy removal, which has pushed transport fares up.
Previously,
the prices of rams are very affordable, but now moving the rams to this destination is a big problem. We try as much as possible to reduce the price to enable people to buy from us because of the situation of the country. The government has done well on the fuel subsidy removal, and we pray that the removal of the fuel subsidy will make things to be cheap and also transport fares standardized.
We
used to transport the rams at the rate of 100,000 naira, but now we spend close to 200,000 naira or more. The removal of the fuel subsidy has made the price to be more expensive than the previous one. We are calling on the government to do the needful to subsidize the transport fare to enable us bring more to the Federal Capital Territory. Some of the sellers added that the amount of money they use to transport the rams has more than doubled the normal price.
The transportation is very, 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 very expensive. And the way we are feeding them is also, that can also cause the price of ram to go high.
Buyers also lamented that the prices of sacrificial rams have skyrocketed, though their incomes remain the same, calling on the government to subsidize transportation to further cushion the hardship being faced by the people.
The sacrifice that you make within just once in a year, you'll be looking for a ram of 130. I don't buy that kind of idea. I'm calling on Muslim people. When you go to market, when you see a good ram, when you see a very big ram that maybe is good for sacrifice, in your own mind, you know something that is good. In your own mind, if you are going to market to buy a shoe, to buy a wristwatch, or to buy a phone, you always go for a good something. When you go to the market to buy a ram, please try and buy something very good.
We, the masses, will still contribute to this fake inflationary pricing or high skyrocket pricing of things. Even though before removal of the subsidy, this happened. It was within us before the government, but the government needs to give those people some sort of palliative to cushion down the cost of transportation. If you see across the road there, if per ram from this our customer here, per ram from Jigawa down here is 10,000.
This is Kubo, livestock market in the Federal Capital Territory, where prices of rams has really skyrocketed. And most residents have complained that the removal of fuel subsidy has contributed to the high price of rams in the market. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The crescent moon for Hajj has been sighted in Saudi Arabia on Sunday. An announcement by the Saudi Arabia Supreme Court said the first day of the month will fall on Monday, June 19, and the day of Hajj will be on Tuesday, 27 June, and Eid al-Adha be observed on Wednesday, 28 June 2023. The UAE will also announce the crescent sighting on Sunday. Typically, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and some other Gulf countries mark Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha on the same days. On Saturday, the Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar, asked Muslims to be on the lookout for the crescent moon on Sunday. Abubakar, who is the President General Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, NSCIA, gave the directive in a statement signed by Prof. Sambu Junaidu, Chairman, Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council, Sokoto. Zulhaj is the 12th and the last month in the Islamic calendar in which Muslims perform annual pilgrimage Hajj and celebrate Eid al-Kabir festival. The statement prayed Allah to help all Muslims in the discharge of their religious duty. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has urged former Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, and his 4 other friends in the G5 to come up with another aggrieved group within opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, to make winning the 2027 presidential election a smooth ride for the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. Akpabio, a former Akwa Ibom State Governor, spoke on Sunday at a Thanksgiving reception held at Wike's private residence on Ada George Road in his hometown. Romefre Kum in the Obio Apo local government area of the oil-rich South-South state. All members of the G5, including Wike, Makinde, and former governor of Samuel Otum Benue, Okize Epiezo Abia, and Epianu Ogunyi Inugu were present at the event. Car wash business is providing employment opportunities for many people in Katsina State. However, recent fuel subsidy removal had significantly impacted on the industry, leaving many car wash owners struggling to keep their businesses afloat. Jamil Mbabai spoke to car wash owners and workers about the impact of these developments.
One of the busiest car wash spots in Katsina is now experiencing low patronage. Businesses are suffering as fuel subsidy is removed. With less profit, the cost of fuel has become a burden too heavy to carry.
When there is work, I can buy 3,000 naira petrol. But now, if I am to fill my tanks, I buy 6,000 naira petrol.
For 3 decades, Abubakar Chuma has been running his car wash business successfully until now. With unstable electricity, he is forced to lean on costly petrol.
Before, 1,500 naira petrol is enough for us. Now we buy petrol of 3,000 naira plus the work has reduced. People have parked their cars due to fuel subsidy removal.
Customers no longer patronize them, and this has led to a decrease in revenue for these businesses, putting them in a difficult position.
From washing 30 cars to 10 cars, some wash 40 cars before, now they wash 5 cars. You see the work has reduced.
The car wash business in Katsina has been booming in recent years, creating job opportunities for many young people in the state. This has had a negative impact on the youth in the state who rely on car wash business for employment.
In Katsina, most car wash have minimum of 2 and maximum of 20 employees. This business helps youth from engaging in drug abuse. It provides them with something to occupy their time, and they don't have time to misbehave.
Jamil Mbabai, Trust TV News, Katsina.
You are watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming off after the break, we take you to Plateau community where marriage is cheap. For details of this and more, do stay with us after the break.
documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and if you are just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Now, a recap of our top stories. Zaria community thrown into mourning as bandits kill Fulani leader, his 4 sons. And Ram market springs up in Abuja, sellers lament poor patronage. Now moving on to other stories. Fatima Suleiman, the Sokoto student who lost her leg to a reckless driver a few hours after completing senior secondary school examination last year, is managing to be back on her feet after the incident. Our Imam visited Fatima at her family home located at Giwa Akra in Wamako local government area of Sokoto State. Fatima, who is now 17 years old, shares her experience after the accident.
Fatima Suleiman, the Sokoto student who lost her leg to a reckless driving by another student, spoke to Trust TV for the first time on how she has been managing her life after the unfortunate accident that occurred sometimes last year. Our reporter who visited Fatima at the Giwa Eka residence met her walking back home after escorting her female friend with the support of crutches. The smiling Fatima said it was not easy adapting to her new life.
I've been managing my life ever since I had the accident. So, like, living with friends hasn't been easy. Everything is new to me. So I'm still trying to adapt to the new changes.
She also lamented over how she became subject of public attention, which she said was troubling her.
Mostly when I go out in public, like and there was a situation where I saw some group of people coming at me.
Her mother also spoke on how they were helping her to overcome her trauma.
We thank God. I give thanks to Almighty Allah for the way she accepts her fate. But being her still a small girl, sometimes used to have some challenges. She used to feel loneliness, so I appreciate the way her friends used to carry her along. So that is the only thing that normally keep her going. And with the courage we used to give her, saying that if her leg is due for the protest, she will be fine. So we used to give her courage. Sometimes if she's lonely, she'll be thinking. But as a mother, I always make sure she's not lonely.
Despite her present condition, Fatima still nurtures the ambition of following the footsteps of her father, who is a medical doctor, insisting that her condition will not deter her from actualizing her ambition.
Always been my future ambition, and I want to follow my dad's footsteps. But always been my dream to be a medical doctor.
Her case is still in the court, although the suspect had been released on bail. Abubakar Awal Imam reporting for Trust TV.
In an effort to address the policy gaps in agricultural extension service delivery towards improving livelihood of smallholder farmers in Bauchi and Gombe states, agriculture policy makers converge on Jos, the Plateau State capital, to brainstorm on the way forward. The one-day policy dialogue is part of the Together Against Poverty TAP project, the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, aimed at promoting fairer and more resilient food systems that improve the livelihoods of small-scale producers in the 2 states. The report.
The executive director of CISLAC, Awal Ibrahim Musa, said with a new administration place, he believes engagement with relevant, returning and incoming actors is imperative. Represented by CISLAC program manager, Chinedu Basi, the executive director said the engagements will re-emphasize the importance of commitments and adequate responses towards the adoption and implementation of policies and practices, as well as increasing citizen engagement, particularly women small-scale producers with policymakers.
Agriculture development programs, including the adoption and adaptation, that means the domestication of the National Agricultural Extension Policy, as a veritable mechanism for improving the delivery and provision of agricultural extension services to smallholder women and men farmers, and also improving budgetary allocations to support effective and sustainable implementation of policies.
Speaker of Bauchi State House of Assembly, Abubakar Suleiman, said the best way to tackle poverty is to tackle it from the grassroots, and that most people at the grassroots are farmers. Suleiman, who is also the chairman Conference of Speakers of Legislatures of Nigeria, explained that if measures can be put in place to address farmers' challenges, it will enhance food security and tackle poverty by extension in the nation.
The best way to tackle poverty is to tackle poverty from the grassroots. And as we are all aware, most of our people at the grassroots are farmers. And if you can ease the way and manner people will do farm and get a lot of harvest, then definitely you are addressing poverty at the grassroots. And definitely, and with that, I believe poverty will be addressed, or rather will be alleviated in Nigeria.
The acting program manager of Gombe State Agricultural Development Program, Maina Jonathan Awan, said Gombe State farmers have enjoyed support from their state government, including eliminating the farmers' headers clash over 4 years ago.
We were busy throughout the week preparing for launching of the Gombe State input support, that is fertilizer distribution to the teeming farmers of Gombe State.
The focus of the dialogue is improving budgetary allocations to support effective and sustainable implementation of policies, programs, and extension services to women and men skilled producers in both Bauchi and Gombe states.
The Lagos State government is to demolish 17 distressed structures at Alaba Market in the Ojo area of the state on Monday. This is according to the General Manager of Lagos State Building Control Agency, LAPSCA, Bolahan Oki, who spoke during an assessment of the buildings already earmarked for demolition. The LAPSCA boss also issued final warnings and notices to the occupants of the affected structures. Oki, who decried the rate of harassment meted out to officials of the agency at different times in the past, said that 7 years notification was enough for the occupants of the building marked for demolition to have vacated the structures and comply with the notices issued by LAPSCA and other government agencies. The Alaba Market is famous for the sales of electronic devices and other items. Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad has urged Nigerians to be patient as the government works out palliative to cushion the hardships brought about by the removal of fuel subsidy. The governor said this in Bauchi on Saturday while interacting with newsmen. He assured the people that the committee set up by the National Economic Council will make appropriate recommendations that will be beneficial to all. Muhammad, who is a member of the committee, said some of the recommendations, including the procurement of a large number of mass transit buses for Nigerians. He added that the committee will also recommend adjustments in workers' salaries and the introduction of various intervention programs using the revenue generated from the subsidy removal. The federal government has built a solar mini-grid at Ayabaju Market in Oshobo, Osun State to cushion the effects of fuel subsidy removal on traders. The project, executed by Rural Electrification Agency, is aimed at reducing the use of carbon monoxide petrol-powered generators in the market. The managing director of the agency, Salihijo Ahmad, said Ayabaju Market in Oshobo and Abubakar Gumi Market in Kaduna State were selected for the project. The chairman of Market Association, Oroleyi Musibau, appealed to the agency to ensure that the market is covered.
At the global level, there are agreements signed for climate change, and this is an initiative where, as federal government, we've signed into reducing emission of carbon in the atmosphere. So today, if you go around here, you realize that most people are using generators. So as you rightly mentioned, for an agency who is looking to bring electricity to unserved and underserved Nigerians, often we also act as facilitators to make sure that this project continues to be sustainable, and then we're able to now scale it up for the entire market. So for us as REA, this is important because we have been able to now demonstrate a concept where the idea is that with the concept we have done, we can bring in now other stakeholders to be able to work together to scale it up to what is required.
Members of Afizere ethnic group in Plateau State believe marriage expenses in their tradition are less expensive compared to other cultures in the country. Ado Musa reports that the ethnic group encourages young men to marry women from their tribe. Ado Musa completes the report.
Marital rights for the Afizere ethnic group are simple that anyone can afford. However, as the society is changing, list of items required as gift to would-be wife is also changing in the community. Azima Gaji is the chairman of Language Institute Izere, and he explains what it takes to marry from his ethnic group.
You only bring maybe, they say, carton or 2 cartons of sweet, 2 cartons of biscuit, and you now bring goats. Because you have to bring goats, there is what we call itekuche. That is the blessings of the uncles.
Magaji said, with 300,000 naira or less, a suitor can get a wife in Afizere ethnic group, adding that the said amount can take all the marital expenses.
If you are Afizere, averagely, no matter how high the status is, it may be 300 to 400,000. It will be okay for you. Yes. But it may be less. Sometimes the parents of the girl may decide, depending on the relationship you have with the parents.
Anna Amos, who is married for the past decade, explained what her husband spent before marrying her.
Like my own time, my husband did not take anything apart from 15,000 naira. Nothing was, nothing more, nothing less. Because my parents believe that he has also become a son in the family. And it is a relationship that has been built. Because if it is a relationship that has been built, there's nothing that you say, okay, bring this, bring that, no.
Peter Azi, a member of the group who intends to marry from among the Afizere ethnic group, said simple marital rights of the ethnic group motivated him to choose a woman from the tribe.
For me, as a very agile youth that is yet to get married, I'm very proud to tell you today that Izere culture in regard to marriage is very, very fair to Izere youth. For me today, I stand bold to tell you that I'm intent to marry Izere lady.
According to the group, though the advent of Christianity and Islam has affected their marital rights, certain customs are still being practiced by many living in the villages. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Rivers State Governor Similai Fubara has asked the new police commissioner to make the state unsafe for criminal elements, even as he reiterated his commitment of his administration to sustain support to all security agencies to ensure that the security of life and property is not compromised. The governor gave the charge when he received the new police commissioner Nwoyi Polycarp Emeka at Government House, Port Harcourt. The report.
The Rivers State Governor said fight against crime and criminality will require regular logistics support from the government and vital information from members of the public. He, however, frowns at activities of some police officers operating in the guise of Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS in the state when such unit of police was disbanded a long time ago.
On our own part, we can assure you that we'll give you all the necessary support to do your job with ease. We also require from you, not just me and my team, but the entire state, you have to be fair to everyone. Keep getting these messages. Some policemen that operate with a Sienna, that they operate like SARS. I start wondering, I thought SARS has been disbanded.
The new Rivers State Police Commissioner, Nwoyi Polycarp Emeka, said under his watch, accurate information and intelligence will be deployed in fighting crime and criminality in the state.
Primary ethics is to tackle crimes and criminalities, and to achieve this, all hands must be on deck. The help of the government of Rivers State and the good-spirited people of the state is needed to achieve this. Information and intelligence is key in fighting crime, and it will be deployed fully.
The governor told the new commissioner of police to be firm and forthright in tackling all forms of crime in the state, as well as give listening ear to every complaint without bias or favor to address security issues holistically.
In the meantime, the former President Olusegun Obasanjo has said Nigeria has not been fair to farmers in the country. According to him, the researchers, financial institutions and government have all conspired to victimize those who are in the business of farming. Obasanjo spoke in Lagos while delivering his keynote address at the Agri-Business Investors Network organized by the Innovative Youth in Agriculture, IYouth, in partnership with the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, ITA, and MasterCard Foundation. The former president specifically decried the inability of farmers to access sustainable funding from financial institutions, saying the current double-digit interest rate given by banks is too prohibitive and cannot sustain any agribusiness. He calls for deliberate effort to bring all stakeholders together to produce a new generation of farmers that will take over from the old generation, noting that most of the farmers today are too old. Deputy Director General Partnership for Delivery ITA, Ken Denshall, said the conference was about bringing everybody together to support the youth to go into farming representatives. Representatives of financial institutions at the program, including the Managing Director of EcoBank, Bolaji Lawal, said they will support initiatives that will stimulate youth employment. This is Trust News Hour. We will be back after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. South African businessman Johan Rupert has displaced Nigerian billionaire and founder of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, as Africa's richest man as a result of the depreciation of the naira. Rupert currently boasts a 12 billion net worth, according to Forbes magazine in its real-time global billionaires ranking, while Dangote's net worth is put at 10.8 billion. Rupert is the chairman of Swiss-based luxury goods company, Richemont, and South Africa-based company, Remgro. Rupert, who initially followed Dangote closely, took over the #1 spot following the Central Bank of Nigeria's decision to loosen its grip on the official exchange market, which saw the Nigerian billionaire's worth drop by 4.12 billion. According to Bloomberg Billionaire Index, BBI, other Nigerian billionaires, including the founder of Boasment, Abdul Samad Rabiu, and the chairman of Globalcom Limited, Mike Adenuga, were also affected as Forbes and Bloomberg had to recalculate their fortunes. Rabiu lost 2.73 billion from his wealth because of the floating of the naira by the CBN. However, Dangote is expected to bounce back with the commencement of operation at the 650,000 PBD refinery in Ibeju-Lekki, Lagos. And now, away from Nigeria, United States President Joe Biden made his 2024 re-election pitch to union members in Philadelphia in his first political rally since launching his campaign in April, aiming to show up a key part of his political coalition and bolster support among white working-class voters. The event was hosted by the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organizations, which includes 60 unions representing more than 12.5 million workers. It endorsed Biden and his running mate Vice President Kamala Harris this week, the earliest it has ever made an endorsement in a U.S. presidential election. Biden said the early endorsement will make a gigantic difference in the election. Hundreds of union workers inside the convention hall began chanting, "Let's go Joe," and blowing whistles and hoisting campaign signs hours before Biden arrived. Members of unions representing professions from carpenters, airport service workers to entertainers to heavy service equipment engineers praised Biden from the stage, some speaking in Spanish with translators. Radio and TV programs in Tunisia have been banned from reporting on the cases of prominent opposition figures accused of conspiring against state security, further deepening Tunisia's authoritarian shift under President Kais Saied. El Qadar said the ban concerns just audio-visual media and was ordered in place to protect the privacy of the figures involved in the cases. At least 21 dissidents are being investigated on unfounded accusation of conspiracy, an investigation that began in February of this year. According to Amnesty International, at least 12 people have been arrested. Those arrested have been publicly branded as terrorists, accused of plotting to attack the state, and have been investigated under 10 articles of Tunisia's penal code, including Article 72, which mandates the death penalty for trying to change the nature of the state, Amnesty International said. And now finally on sports news, Nigeria's senior male national team, the Super Eagles, secured qualification for 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, defeating Leon Stars of Sierra Leone by 3-2. At the Samuel Jude Sports Complex in Liberia, a first half brace scored by striker Victor Osimhen put the Eagles 2 goals ahead as at the 32nd minute. Leon Stars of Sierra Leone pulled one back before halftime and equalized with less than 10 minutes left to play. Kelechi Iheanacho scored the winner for the Eagles in extra time. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim spoke to football fans in Kano after the match and filed in this report.
At the Samuel Doe Sports Complex in Pennsville, Monrovia, the Super Eagles of Nigeria defeat Lone Stars of Sierra Leone by 3-2. This result secures Nigeria a place at the next Africa Cup of Nations tournament scheduled to hold in Côte d'Ivoire. Back home in Nigeria, eager fans watch with keen interest. Despite supporting the team that won, some were forced to stay at the edge of their seats for most of the encounter.
It's not a good record for you to somebody 2-1 or 2-0. Then they were trying to come and equalize, and at last they equalized. It's a very sad result, but at last everything was okay.
Yeah, it's difficult because the way we are expecting, when we have high expectation, at the end we see disappointment from the players. So, but even the coach, we don't have coach. Because we are watching the coach, that's supposed to be a coach. When you make a substitute, we see changes. But the coach is there, so we use home base at least. Because the player they are using now, they already make money. They have the money. They don't play with their heart as we expect from them. So we expect to see them fight, do or die affairs.
Nigeria qualified leading Group A with 12 points and 1 game left against Sao Tome and Principe, who suffered a record 10-0 defeat to the Super Eagles. The result stirred up mixed reaction from fans who now look towards the current Super Eagles team to bring African Cup of Nations glory back to the country.
I feel like they will be able to win because we need it. Since 2013, I think, when Stephen Keshi was coaching the Super Eagles, Nigeria have not won the match, the tournament, I mean. So this time could be ours.
No. 100% no. Let's not deceive ourselves. Football is a team game. When you have 2 or 3 people playing with a passion and the rest are not playing with passion, definitely you won't get the result desired from other 11 23-man team. They play with passion.
The last round of matches in the AFCON 2023 qualification series holds 4th to 12th September 2023. Abdulaziz Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
Before we go, here is a kicker. Juan Wandege Intiga is one of a growing number of Kenyan farmers adopting the agroforestry practice of planting endangered indigenous trees alongside food crops to mitigate the negative effects of climate change, soil degradation, and biodiversity loss.
You can put a cover and put chickens inside.
Yeah, like it cannot, rainwater will not be used. I mean, this dam. It's retaining. Yeah. To say, I want to start a forest in my farm. It was a whole forest before, and we cut down the trees in order to make room to grow food and fruits. But as the years went by, the soil was depleted just because of the products that we were using, and the climate changed drastically. So the amount of rain we were getting 20 years ago is significantly different from the amount of rain we've gotten 5 years ago, for example. And so that means that it has affected the amount of food we can grow. Huh? Wapi? We need to improve the whole ecosystem of the farm, and I believe that indigenous trees can do that for every single smallholder farmer. So even if a smallholder farmer plants 10 trees, for example, we want to demonstrate that those 10 trees can drastically improve the soil, the biodiversity, and the nutrients of the whole farm in general, so that they can grow more food and get more money for the household.
It was planted by Petra many years ago. Oh, this one.
Okay.
English is, oh, you don't know that? I-N-E-E-N-S-E. Kanani. This one.
I remember writing that one out. They're very beautiful.
Oh, good, wonderful.
Yeah.
You're not, yeah.
No, I like them.
There are even those people who are called extension officers, agricultural extension officers. They were going, so they had field days when they could meet the farmers. And I tell you, by then, everything was going very well, because they could show farmers how you can operate a small nursery in your home, and even how to plant your tree.
We are not a glam lot foresters. We talk about Three Amigos.
Have you not?
Hoping the rest of my neighbors will also follow suit.
Exactly, that she adds there. Yeah? So that's already
now
done.
It's making sense.
Yeah.
Now it's making sense. Through illicit liquor to support our children.
In 10 years, I want this to be a full, mature, indigenous forest that is rich in biodiversity, that the greenhouses will all have been renovated, and that they will be full of viable seedlings that can then be grown on other farms, that can then enjoy the fruits of what indigenous forests can bring to a landscape.
What does it do? I asked you a question and you just didn't correct me.
News just reaching us that the Sultanate Council Sokoto has declared Monday 19th June 2023 as the first day of Dhul Hijjah 1444 AH. Accordingly, Wednesday 28th June 2023 will be the day of Eid al-Adha 1444 AH. The Sultan of Sokoto Alhaji Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar CFR MNI wishes the entire Muslim Ummah happy Eid al-Adha Mubarak in advance. With that, we have come to the end of the Trust News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching and bye for now.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.